r/AskReddit. What is something that you would never confess to your family? That my mother, who always said time and time again that she will never turn into her mother, has turned into her mother. Yikes. That's my biggest fear, and my fiance tells me he sees it happening. My extended family thinks I've had no career or salary advancement for 10 years. I play a bumbling idiot with them, who just can't catch a break. Reason being, they're a cavalcade of self-inflicted sob stories and GoFundMe grifters. I don't want to be hit up for loans every other week. I'm actually a senior manager at an established consulting firm. If they had a good reason for their misery other than got drunk with the money for bills and didn't pay them, I would help them out. Pretending to be a struggling idiot deflects any attempts at soliciting me for money. Note, I live out of state from them, and they don't travel. So I only have to maintain this foolish charade for Thanksgiving and Christmas. My parents are in on it. I would never tell my grandmother how much of an idiot I think my uncle is. She buries her head in the sand about him. I think you're related to me. Edit, I'm the niece. I joined the Navy to get away from them, not because I felt some sort of patriotic duty like they tell people. I liked it. I found a purpose. I got great training that got me the job I have today. But I did it because I hated it at home. Marine here. I feel this. Fetishes, lol. I'm into that one. I use Reddit. Both of my parents hate me talking to people online because they think I'm going to get kidnapped or raped or something. So I'm not allowed to post /comment /like anything by people they don't know. That's such a silly fear. On an unrelated note, what's your home address? I really don't enjoy spending time with them. I've been the black sheep since I was a child, and it sucks when the entire family thinks of you as the mean one, then wonder why you don't have any interest in spending time with them. I'm the picky, selfish, resting beach face black sheep to my family. I will admit, I was misbehaved when I was a kid 10+ years ago, but I'm not a child anymore. They just refuse to think of me as any different than I was and keep bringing up the past. Also, it's not picky to not want to eat off of dirty crusty plates, dad. That I'm really not as smart or motivated as they claim I am. I'm ducking stupid, and I kind of just want to sit in my apartment and do nothing until I die at 30. That's kinda what I thought. But here I am, 32 years old and not dead. Call it procrastination, I guess. I prefer the word apathy. It's not that I don't think I could do something about it. I just don't care enough. How sad I am. Almost any of my thoughts, feelings and beliefs on anything. I don't think that's really a bad thing. They don't need to know any of that. Damn. That hit me hard. I also try to appear happy to them, even after going through depression in a point of my life, and even when they are explicitly asking me, are you happy? For me it feels like it's better off they don't know. I also feel a great deal of shame about it. In the worst part of my alcoholism, I tried to overdose on sleeping pills. In the way to the hospital, my mom said it might have been better for everyone if I just did the deed. I haven't forgiven her, and I don't know if I can. Understandable. Up until about a year ago, I said I would take to my grave that my stepdad molested me for almost 30 years. But I outed the due date months ago. Cheers. My younger aunt and I almost fooled around when we were kids. We didn't know about each other, and when we both met she was 13, I was 15. As we grew up there was a ton of flirting and sexual tension. It never came to anything, thank God, but we had some intimate conversations around it. Oddly enough, both of us are very close today and have even spoke about how ridiculous the whole thing was. She definitely still wants to smash. I met a random redditor for sex and quite enjoyed it. This literally how I had sex for the first time in college. There's a subreddit devoted to posting nude pics of yourself for my college. He lived a block away from me, hooked up a few times for a month, and stopped after I decided I couldn't handle his eating cheese sandwiches in bed. Also only called me when he was drunk. A year later I was watching Jeopardy with my family and was very shocked to see him. He went on to be a 3-day champion. 6 years later I discover several porn videos of him, and he has been very well received as far as the comment section tells me. This person and I have had a very strange connection through various forms of media and sex. In 3rd grade, I cheated on my history exam. In 4th grade, I stole my Uncle Maximum's toupee and I glued it on my face when I was Moses in my Hebrew school play. In 5th grade, I knocked my sister Edie down the stairs and I blamed it on the dog. When my mom sent me to the summer camp for fat kids and then they served lunch, I went nuts and I pigged out and they kicked me out. But the worst thing I ever done, I mixed a pot of fake puke at home and then I went to this movie theater, hid the puke in my jacket, climbed up to the balcony and then I made a noise like this. Hooah 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 hooah, and then I dumped it over the side, all over the people in the audience. And then, this was horrible. All the people started getting sick and throwing up all over each other. I never felt so bad in my entire life. I'm starting to like this kid. All I want is to feel loved and secure, but I don't feel that in this family. I feel you. Stop it, Uncle Jack. That I don't agree with the half of their views that sometimes range anything from racist comments, laziness, lifestyle etc. Not anything special, but it's a bit annoying when you want to strike up a constructive debate, but it would only turn to yelling. Was raped in elementary school, attempted suicide, have depression, and social anxiety. That I accidentally got her, my mom, a non-vegetarian hot dog one time. I just didn't think when I was ordering. She thought it was the best veggie dog ever and had a great night's sleep that night. I will take that to the grave with me. My mom set me up with one of her nurse co-workers and a few months later, I had to go half-sis on an abortion. A family member used to live in our home, groomed me and sexually abused me when I was around 12 years old. Not sure about the age, don't really want to remember. But yeah, I don't think I would ever tell them. I'm not even sure they would believe me. Happened to me when I was in 5th grade by my older sister's boyfriend. I told when I was an adult and they didn't even pretend to believe me. That I want to give up on marriage and kids. I have trust issues and every time I trust people, they disappoint me in the end. So I would like to save my kids from such trust issues by not having them. Most of my mental health was caused by them. I love my parents, but I'm mentally screwed up. I'm not a sociopath, but I have issues, and I'm Asian and mental health isn't something that is considered an illness in the Asian community. I'm bisexual. I'm not ashamed of it at all. I'm out to everyone non-family. I've been with my boyfriend for 4 years, and I just see no reason to risk them freaking out about it, and I'm not that close with them anyway. I'm B2, and I'm closer to my family, so my plan right now is to roll the dice and hope I don't get into a serious relationship with a guy anytime soon. If I do, I suppose I'll tell them, but until then I don't see the point in opening that can of worms. Probably that I don't believe in God anymore. I grew up in a decently religious household where we went to church every Sunday and I was really involved in my youth group from middle school until I left for college. Once I was in college, I finally started questioning religion a lot more, and it wasn't long before I realized it made no sense at all to me and that I had mainly loved going to church so much in high school because all of my friends were there and it was my primary social outlet. At this point, I think my mom might have suspicions. But in my mind, it would only do harm to confirm them and tell her because I'm still able to be my 100% self around her and it would really hurt my parents in my opinion. My grandma on the other hand is extremely 1000 times religious. This is where I have more issues because for one, I have to pretend I'm a totally different person around her, which as I get older, really sucks and makes me question my relationship with her. And 2, I know if I told her I didn't believe in God, she would absolutely never talk to me again. It's a real shatty situation, but in the end, I'd rather not stir the pot and stick to just calling her once a month to have the same meaningless conversation we always do to keep her happy. As much as I try, it's next to impossible to articulate how they made us, my siblings and myself, feel as children and the deep-seated emotional trauma that brings with it. We love each other even now, and by no means were they terrible people or the kind of parents that I'd have been taken away with. They did their best and tried so hard, but they aren't perfect and their mistakes cut deep. I still have a relationship with both of them, and I love them dearly. I guess that's probably why I'll never tell them how awful it all was. I physically can't bring myself to it. It's like trying to talk when your tongue goes numb. I can't imagine breaking it to them that they sucked. When I was around 6, I heard that cats always land on their feet. So I thought I would test this out on our family cat. I picked up the cat and dropped her over the banister above the stairs in our house. She landed on her side, then ran away and hid for a while. When I got older, I remembered a separate incident of her getting pregnant and all but 2 of the kittens being stillborn. I have no idea if she was pregnant when I dropped her over the banister, but it haunts me as an adult to think about. I'm taking that story to my grave. I'm really happy to only see them once or twice a year due to living 3,000 miles away. I just can't stand them. They all gossip and talk shat and spin their wheels so much you can't even have a normal conversation with any of them. It's all drama and always has been. I never understood how and why I was so depressed my entire life. Found escapism through alcohol and partying. Since I've lived across the country, I'm sober, have a super awesome family, and I barely ever see them. It's great. That I'm about to fail university. I struggle but can't tell them because they are proud of me. That you were the one who called the police to report something they did. This is kinda unrelated, but a few years ago, I was burning tissues because I was bored for some reason, and my parents called the police thinking someone was trying to burn our house down. I still haven't told them that my husband and I are trying to have a baby. Both my mom and his mom are really intense and badly have granny fever. I don't want to be constantly hounded by them trying to figure out if I'm pregnant and have everything I do be criticized in case it might harm a bundle of cells before it's even a fetus. The fact that I've been depressed for more than half my life. I remember a family friend had committed suicide, and my parents were saying I don't understand how someone could do that. I calmly said I could really relate to why someone would do that. The look of disbelief and desperation in my mother's face broke my heart, and I realized how she had interpreted what I said. I don't live at home, and for almost a month afterwards she would call me every day to check on me and make sure I was okay and tell me that I'm loved, and if I ever needed to talk about anything, she and my father were always there for me. CW. Sexual assault. Honestly, the fact that I was raped 6 months ago. Sorry for the not very funny answer. My mom has slut shamed me my whole life. So I just don't have the energy to try to explain to her how I got violently raped on a Tinder date at 30. I'm a grown ducking woman and I never thought this would happen to me at this age. I know she'd blame me, and I already blame myself enough for it. I blame myself for putting myself in that situation. I blame myself for drinking too much. I blame myself for not reporting it to the police afterward, and the fact that he's probably out there doing it to more women. But what's the point now? I have no evidence. It would go nowhere. I can't go through the court system. I just can't. I truly thought I was going to die that night. He choked the shat out of me repeatedly. Sex hasn't been the same since. I feel so broken. I cry all the time. I can't sleep through the night. I don't know how I'm ever going to have a healthy relationship now. And it's not even that I want to confess to my family. That's not a conversation I want to have. But I understand now why people want to share their stories. Most days it feels like it's eating me alive, and when I do reach out and talk about it, it's like I can breathe a little bit easier just for a second. I don't know. It's like I want to share with them, but at the same time I don't. My family is not exactly supportive. They're not awful, but I don't trust that they will react in an appropriate manner. Lol. I hate myself. I have a daughter. I've never wanted kids, but being young, dumb and full of cum, I got my fiance pregnant, but with our issues we couldn't deal with actually taking care of a kid, so we put her up for adoption. The family who got her was very excited and had been trying for almost a decade to have one of their own but couldn't. They had just gotten through the background stuff the month before she was born, and this was their first chance at actually adopting. They were super happy. My fiance cried at giving her to them, and I just wanted to go get ducked up and forget it. We got married and divorced a few years back, and I got my life together, but occasionally I think of her, but can't bring myself to try and chat. I would have ruined that child's life.